this past Sunday, as the nation was enjoying Super Bowl 55, our own Derek Ferreira reported very sad news that ESPN Major League Baseball reporter Pedro Gomez passed away suddenly at the age of 58. Tonight, on this edition of Strictly Sports, this is unfortunately not the only passing. Another sports figure passed away. Tonight we are going to celebrate both of their lives, as well as cover some of the big stories in the world of sports. Hello, friends, and welcome to another edition of Strictly Sports. I am your host, Anthony Florio. I am joined, as always, by good old MF Michael Fletcher and by Michael Bullock. And it's always hard when we have to start a show with a passing, but it's even harder when we have to acknowledge two passings. But we'll cover the other passing in just a moment. Pedro Gomez, who was best known for his outstanding baseball reports on ESPN, whether it was on SportsCenter or ESPN News or Baseball Tonight or what have you. He passed away at the age of 58, and at this time I'm going to mention his resume here. He worked as a reporter for ESPN from 2003 up until this year, contributing to SportsCenter. He was primarily a baseball reporter and was also a member of the Baseball Writers Association of America, who cast election votes for the Baseball Hall of Fame. In his legendary career, he covered 25 World Series and 22 Major League Baseball All-Star games. He wrote for the Miami News from 1985 to 1988, and then the San Diego Union from 1988 to 1990. After years of covering high schools and general assignment sports in Miami, San Diego, and the San Francisco Bay Area, Gomez became a full-time baseball beat writer in 1992, covering the Oakland Athletics for the San Jose Mercury News and the Sacramento Bee from 1990 to 1997. Those Oakland squads featured stars including Rickey Henderson and the Bash Brothers, Jose Canseco and Mark McGwire. Gomez said that covering those days was like we were traveling with the Rolling Stones. Gomez gained much experience during this 7-year period as a newspaper writer, his work in Sacramento, San Jose, and later as a national baseball writer and general sports columnist for the Arizona Republic in Phoenix from 1997 to 2003, led to ESPN's hiring of him in 2003 to work at SportsCenter. Gomez specialized in baseball reporting for ESPN and followed Barry Bonds for the better part of 3 seasons as Bonds pursued Hank Aaron for the all-time MLB home run record. Gomez's favorite event that he covered was Game 6 of the 2003 National League Championship Series, when Chicago Cubs fan Steve Bartman attempted to catch a foul ball against the then Florida Marlins, who went on to score 8 runs in the inning. In 2016, Gomez went to Cuba to cover an exhibition game between the Tampa Bay Rays and the Cuban national team, the first visit by an MLB club in almost 2 decades. He also appeared on Baseball Tonight and other studio shows. Gomez also covered sports other than baseball, including working as a sideline reporter during MLS Cup 2008. He covered a U.S. men's national soccer team in Havana in 2008. He is survived by his wife, Sandra, and 3 children, 2 sons and a daughter. He resided in Phoenix, Arizona. His son, Rio, played college baseball as a left-handed pitcher for the Arizona Wildcats baseball team. before starting a professional baseball career within the Boston Red Sox organization. And Gomez passed away at his home in Phoenix suddenly this past Sunday night at age 58. Very sad news indeed. I mean, this hits close to all of us, but for me, this one hits very close to home because, it's well documented. I am the baseball guy when it comes to the commentary of myself and MF. I've always compared MF and I to Joe Buck and Tim McCarver, but Pedro Gomez definitely was someone who, inspired me just as much. I mean, I always enjoyed watching his reports, whether I was watching SportsCenter or ESPN News, and always in depth, always thorough, very professional, and I loved his style. And he's certainly going to be missed, and a very intricate part of ESPN's baseball coverage since 2003, and he's certainly going to be missed. And on behalf of all of us here at Strictly Sports, we will most certainly be sending our thoughts and our prayers and our condolences to the family of Pedro Gomez, as well as his friends and all of his colleagues, all of those who were very blessed and fortunate enough to work with this wonderful man. And as I always say to Pedro Gomez, sir, we thank you for the memories. We thank you for the inspiration. But most of all, we thank you for Pedro Gomez. And my friend, you will certainly be missed. And, it's not going to be the same without you, man. It's not going to be the same. I mean, did such a fantastic job all these years. I enjoyed watching your reports, but then again, I know all of us did. And, definitely hits very hard, no question. So not really much more to add. So I'm going to bring in good old MF, Michael Fletcher. MF, come on in. Very tough day for all of us. One of the best baseball reporters that ESPN had. They've had a lot of legendary ones, but he was definitely right up there. He was definitely right up there with the likes of Peter Gammons, Buster Olney, Tim Kirkjian. But this guy here, what a job.
Yeah, he did. He was, and like you said, Anthony, I think you really mentioned it really well, and that was, Pedro Gomez was a different kind of reporter. Like when in the NFL, you have Chris Mortensen and you have Adam Schefter. That's what I feel like Gomez is. I feel like, you got the Tim Kirchin, who's the historical figure guy. He's the guy that knows everything about the game. And Pedro Gomez was the one that always had the scoop. He always had the big announcements. Whenever there was a big contract or there was a monster trade that was coming from Major League Baseball, Pedro Gomez was the guy that really kind of got the scoop more than anybody else, and especially out west. Like you said, Arizona was his home state. That's where he really dominated. So anything that was coming out of the National League out in California, Oakland, Anaheim, Arizona, and wherever that happened, he was all over it. And that would make Pedro Gomez such a great guy, And from what I know, and from the stories that you've heard in the last few days since his passing, is how much of a family guy he was, how much his colleagues loved him, how much the baseball community loved him, and I think that's one of the biggest things that's the biggest takeaway out of this whole tragedy, is that a guy who was just loving his craft, doing what he's doing, and he got taken away from us so quickly. I think that's the biggest thing, is that we lost him just like that. There was no illness, there was no cancer. Obviously, this was not COVID. That's the one thing that you always get a lot of nowadays. Was this COVID related? No. Um, it was just a sudden. It was a sudden passing. We didn't see it coming. This is one of those that it breaks our hearts. We're all devastated right now. We're all kind of wondering what has happened. But like you said, this was definitely a close to home death. This really hurt the baseball community. ESPN immensely got hurt by this, and you're gonna be missed, and you're never gonna be forgotten, Pedro. Um, my thoughts and prayers are with with the family, and there's really nothing more to add. So, Mike Bullock, I'll give it to you.
Yeah, like you said, I mean, it's sad that we lost him too soon. I mean, he was really such a good reporter for ESPN, especially with Major League Baseball. I mean, he's covered a lot of uh, a lot of things when it comes to Major League Baseball. I mean, especially the playoffs, and he was definitely well respected by everyone at ESPN, and the job he did as a reporter for baseball. So yeah, it's definitely going to be tough for ESPN, and it'll never be this. I mean, it'll never be the same without him when it comes to covering Major League Baseball. So yeah, my thoughts, prayers, and condolences are with Pedro Gomez, his friends, his family, his loved ones, and everybody that knew him. So there's really nothing more for me to add to it. So let's move on, Florio.
We were hoping that this would be the last um, death that we would have to acknowledge. Unfortunately, that is not the case. 24 hours later, less than 24 hours later, another sports figure passed away, but this one probably a little more legendary than Pedro Gomez, with all due respect, because this man, one of the greatest coaches in the history of the National Football League. I could probably go on the record. Matter of fact, I am going to go on the record and say that the coach that we lost, in my honest opinion, was the best coach to never win a Super Bowl, or one of the best. I still think that's Marv Levy, but then again, you could put this guy right up there with him. Who am I referring to? I'm referring to this man right here, Marty Schottenheimer. Marty Schottenheimer, one of the most recognizable and one of the greatest coaches in National Football League history. He passed away this past Monday. He passed away at the age of 77. And as of February 3rd, his family had announced that he had been put into hospice care the previous Saturday. And it was since 2011 he had been diagnosed with Alzheimer's disease. And by the time the diagnosis was announced publicly 5 years later, it had progressed slowly, and he still maintained much of his memory and function, with him to begin experimental treatment to slow the progression of the disease even further. And as of December 2018, he was still able to travel and made a brief pre-recorded speech supporting Chiefs head coach Andy Reid. And then that was all. So before I give it to before MF starts it off, because it will be him starting it off. He wasn't just a coach; he was actually a player too. He played for. How about this? He played for my Buffalo Bills from 1965 to 1968, and then Michael Bullock's Boston Patriots. Before they were the New England Patriots, they were known as the Boston Patriots, and he played with them from 1969 to 1970. As a coach, he was a linebackers coach for the Portland Storm back in 1974. And then from 1975 to 1976, he was the linebackers coach for the New York Giants. And then was promoted to defensive coordinator in 1977 with the Giants. And then from 1978 to 1979, he was the linebackers coach for the Detroit Lions. From 1980 to 1984, the defensive coordinator of the Cleveland Browns. And then got his first head coaching job with the same team, the Cleveland Browns, was promoted from defensive coordinator to head coach. And he coached the Browns from 1984 to 1988, and they had a lot of seasons in the sun. But then again, the team that he's most well known for being the head coach of the Kansas City Chiefs from 1989 to 1998. And then in 2001 was the head coach of the then Washington Redskins. And then 2002 to 2006, the head coach of the San Diego Chargers. And his last coaching job was in 2011 with the Virginia Destroyers, and led the Virginia Destroyers to the UFL championship in 2011. He was the head coach and general manager. Won the 1965 AFL championship with the Buffalo Bills, 1965 AFL All-Star, and in 1964 a second-team All-American. As a coach in 2011, and was the UFL Coach of the Year and won the UFL championship with the Virginia Destroyers. Coach of the Year in 2004 as part of the San Diego Chargers. AFC Coach of the Year 1986 with the Cleveland Browns, and 2004 with the San Diego Chargers, and was also inducted into the Kansas City Chiefs Hall of Fame. As a player, he actually had 6 interceptions and a touchdown in 79 games. In his NFL career, in the regular season, a record of 200, 126 and 1, and 3-1 in the UFL. Postseason 5-13 in the NFL, 1-0 in the UFL. 205, 139 and 1 overall in the NFL, 5-1 in the UFL, and those are the big numbers. And so that's pretty much all there is to say on that. So I think I got all the schematics for this legendary career. So I think it's only fitting that we have our football guy, Mr. NFL, that would be MF, start things off. MF, we covered quite a few of, but then again, all of us, we've covered some games where Marty Schottenheimer was the coach, whether it was with Kansas City. Mainly it was with Kansas City and San Diego, mostly. But to me, MF, he is without question one of the best coaches to never win a Super Bowl. It's a damn shame he never did.
Yeah, no doubt. He had some teams, especially for a few years there, and unfortunately, he never really got over the hump and got to where he ultimately wanted it to be. To the Super Bowl, to win a championship. But, Marty is one of those guys that was well beloved by his team, by the teams that he was with. Coaches, players among, really loved his style, really loved his IQ. And not only that, but would fight for you as, in any situation. So, this was hard. This was a tough one to say the very least. Word was getting out that he was really taking a turn for the worse about a week ago. Then he was sent off to hospice care, And a lot of people were like, guys, you might want to be prepared because it's not looking good for him. And like you said, I think it was right around Saturday was when word was starting to get out that that it was getting bad. It was really getting to a point where um, it was a scary time, scary moment. And unfortunately, Monday we got the official word that it was early Monday morning is when we got the official word that Marty Schottenheimer had passed away. So, I mean, life can be cruel sometimes, guys. I don't think there's anything that we can say about it. He was one of the greats. Like you said, we remember him very well in the days of Kansas City and in the days of San Diego. And he's gonna be missed. He is one of the great coaches of all time, and yeah, there's really nothing more to say. Mike Bullock, it's yours.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, he is definitely one of the great coaches to never win a Super Bowl. I mean, it's a damn shame. I mean, he's such a good coach. I mean, I would think he would I would have thought he would at least win one Super Bowl in his career, but unfortunately it never happened, and I think his best chance came in 2006 with the then San Diego Chargers when they went 14-2. He had that great team, obviously, with Philip Rivers, LaDainian Tomlinson, Sean Merriman, everybody else on that team. But unfortunately, and it was my team, the New England Patriots, that ended the dream and basically stopped him from winning a Super Bowl, and unfortunately, that's what led to. And, and here's what I don't get, guys, and I don't know how you feel about it. I mean, Marty Schottenheimer, of course, he then got fired. To me, and I'll be quite honest, I don't think he deserved to get fired after. I mean, I understand expectations were so high. Um, but to me, I don't think he never should have. He should have gotten fired. I mean, what says you guys?
Agreed. I mean, they went 14-2, had the best record, and they definitely they should have given him another chance. But then again, they were so hell bent on winning a championship that they felt he probably wasn't the best fit, and that's why they haven't really had any success since then. Although they had that one year where they went to the title game, but your undefeated Patriots put an end to that. So I don't know.
Yeah, yeah, I wouldn't have fired him, but like you said, because of the management under the Spanos and the Smith family, I mean, they had high expectations. They expected to win a championship, and unfortunately, a great guy like Marty Schottenheimer got fired, and yeah, so I mean, but he'll mostly be remembered for his run with the Kansas City Chiefs. He had a long tenure there, and yeah, definitely one of the most respected coaches, and yeah, we'll all miss him. So there's really nothing more to say. Florio, it is yours.
Yeah. As I drop the screen here, boy, I know we best remember him with Kansas City, but he had some great success with Cleveland too, guys. I mean, in '86 and '87, he took them to the AFC Championship game, but they did lose to the Denver Broncos both times. and both in heartbreaking fashion. I mean, the legendary drive, the John Elway drive, known as the drive, in that first title game in Cleveland, and then the second title game in Denver, Ernest Biner with that infamous fumble, and that was that. But he had 4 playoff appearances, 3 AFC Central Division titles, 2 trips to the AFC Championship game, 44-27 in his career in Cleveland. Of course, best known for 1992, or I should say, the Kansas City Chiefs, and he took them to the AFC Championship game in 1993, only to lose to my Buffalo Bills. That was the 4th straight Super Bowl appearance. 10 years with them, went 101, 58-1, 3 AFC West Division titles, 7 playoff appearances in that AFC Championship game in 93. In 2001, he was the head coach of the Washington Redskins, as they were known at the time, went 8-8, and then he was fired and replaced ultimately by Steve Spurrier. The Chargers, like Bullock said, 2004 went 12-4, won the AFC West, but they had some great Charger teams, like Bullock said. I mean, with the Chargers and with LT and Drew Brees and Phillip Rivers and Merriman and so many great teams, and unfortunately, it didn't go their way. He won the 2011 UFL championship with the Virginia Destroyers, defeating the Las Vegas Locomotives in Virginia Beach. And but he abruptly resigned shortly before the following year, citing discomfort over unspecified issues facing the team that season and the failure of the team to meet also unspecified conditions for his return. And that ended in an ugly divorce, even with the title win. So survived by his wife Pat, who he had been married to since 1968, a daughter Kristen, and a son Brian. Now we know Brian Schottenheimer, a coach. He's had some. We've heard him as a coach before. Had some coaching gigs of his own, following in Dad's footsteps. With San Diego, he was 47-33, 2 playoff appearances, lost to the Jets in the AFC wildcard game, and then, of course, that infamous loss to the Patriots in that divisional game. Again, that MF and I remember very vividly. MF and I covered that game, and definitely one of the great divisional games that we had. And it's a damn shame that that this guy who got to the AFC title game 3 times but couldn't get over the hump all 3 times, twice in Cleveland, once in Kansas City. But you can make an argument that he was the best coach to never win a Super Bowl. He's right up there with me. It's a 1A, 1B situation, because you also have to consider Marv Levy as well. All those great Bills teams in the 90s. But nonetheless, Marty Schottenheimer, our thoughts, our prayers, and our condolences to his family, his wife Pat, his daughter Kristen, and his son Brian, and not just to the family, but also to his friends, and also to all of his colleagues, all of the players that he coached, and all of the men who served on his coaching staffs over the years. And and to you, Coach Schottenheimer, we want to simply say thank you for the memories, thank you for the inspiration, and most of all, thank you for Marty Schottenheimer and that legendary Marty Ball. We'll never forget the Marty Ball, no doubt about that. So this show tonight will be dedicated to the memories of both Marty Schottenheimer and Pedro Gomez. So very hard to transition, but we do have to transition. On a much lighter note, We're going to move on to the big trade in Major League Baseball. Nolan Arenado traded from the Colorado Rockies to the St. Louis Cardinals. And they agreed to the trade in principle. It was held up, but I think they finally got everything under control. St. Louis will be adding another year and $15 million to Arenado's contract. As such, he'll be signed through 2027 at $214 million. The Rockies will absorb $51 million, including some in deferrals. And the Rockies will pay all of Arenado's $35 million salary in 2021, according to John Paul Morosi of MLB.com. So that's pretty much the financial arrangements. So, Michael Bullock, let's start it off with you here. Nolan Arenado, a St. Louis Cardinal. Would you consider that a game changer?
I would consider it a game changer because, look at the. He's one of the most reliable bats that the Colorado Rockies had, and now you add him to the mix along with Paul Goldschmidt and of course Yadier Molina returning to the team. The Cardinals. They could definitely be a contender for the 2021 season as we near the start of spring training. Can't believe I'm saying that, but yeah, obviously they're gonna really have to contend with the reigning defending World Series champion Dodgers with some of the moves they've made so far in the offseason. They still have some work, but I think they'll definitely be in contention for the postseason this upcoming season. So yeah, I think this is definitely a game changer for the St. Louis Cardinals. So Florio, it is yours.
Absolutely. Along with the added value to his deal, Arenado will be able to opt out of his pact after either of the next two seasons. And the Cardinals added the second opt-out as part of the trade. Most of the money Colorado owes will be after the opt-outs. But considering the concessions the Cardinals are making, it's no surprise Arenado waived his no-trade clause to become part of the team. Of course, it helps that the Cardinals look much better equipped to compete for a playoff spot than the Rockies, who saw their relationship with Arenado deteriorate over the past year plus. The Rockies, whom Arenado played for from 2013 to 20, earned playoff spots in 2017 and 18, but they've since fallen apart. And Arenado, dissatisfied with the team's inactivity in free agency, was part of trade rumors last offseason and even accused GM Jeff Bridich of treating him with disrespect. But for the Rockies, now wiping most of Arenado's contract off the books, they have lost the face of the franchise type who won 8 straight Gold Gloves and picked up 5 All-Star nods in their uniform. Arenado annually blended well above average offense with superb defense as a Rocky through his though his production at the plate did fall off during the pandemic shortened 2020 season. Across 201 plate appearances, he batted a career worst 253, 303, and 434, down from a lifetime 293, 343, and 541. And he did walk nearly as much as he struck out. He walked 15 times, but he struck out 20 times. And a 241 batting average on balls in play hurt his cause. Yet his StatCast numbers also plummeted. The Cardinals no doubt regard Arenado's 2020 decline as a small sample blip. He'll now take over at the hot corner for the club in place of Matt Carpenter and Tommy Edman, the Cardinals' main third base choices last year. Both Carpenter and Edman also have second base experience, so they could divvy up the keystone next season if Colton Wong exits in free agency, which I believe he did. It's possible the Cardinals would rather find a way to jettison Carpenter, a former standout whose output was weak from 2019 to 20. That may not be doable, though, considering his sudden drop-off for the $20.5 million he's due through 2021, including a $2 million buyout for 22 and his no-trade protection. But in order to bolster their situation at third, the Cardinals are parting with a few of their top 30 farmhands, and it doesn't appear Colorado will be getting any major blue-chip talent back. But at the end, though, I mean, when considering Arenado's superstar status and his massive contract, this is one of the most notable trades in recent baseball history. It's also indicative of two teams going in opposite directions. The Cardinals, who went to the playoffs for the second straight year in 2020, are clearly going for it in a wide-open National League Central. On the other side, the Rockies seem to realize they have little chance to compete in the near term as part of an NL West led by serious contenders in the reigning World Series champion Los Angeles Dodgers and the up-and-coming San Diego Padres. Major blockbuster deal here for St. Louis. To get Arenado, it definitely will make St. Louis a contender in the NL Central. So, we'll wait and see on that. So, not much more to say on this. So, MF, Nolan Arenado, St. Louis Cardinal. How about it?
Yeah, the big deal. Big deal. This was the face of the franchise for the Colorado Rockies. Now he goes to the St. Louis Cardinals. And the thing is that St. Louis has a team now that could make a run for the World Series. That could be the missing piece that they've been looking for to get them to the World Series. A big bat that they can rely on, especially in that hot corner at third base. He's going to become the captain of the infield. And that's going to be a major help that they're going to have. With the pitching staff that St. Louis does have, this could be the move that they needed that could get them to make a run at the World Series. And look at all the teams that have improved during this offseason. From the Mets, the Nats made some moves. Phillies made some moves. Atlanta made some moves. The Dodgers made a couple of moves here and there. But St. Louis has been one of the teams that's really stood out, especially with this Arenado deal. They, right now, I'm going to say it, they're the favorites to win the division, and they could be one of the teams that could represent the National League going to the World Series. Obviously, there's quite a few teams that's going to beg to differ on that, but St. Louis has easily made themselves the favorite to win the division next year. That's for a foregone conclusion. From there, we don't know. Nothing more to say. Anthony, it's yours.
Yeah, and there are some other big trades in baseball, but we don't have time really to cover all of them. But,
we'll save that for next week.
Yeah, two. We got two big ones involving your reigning, defending, undisputed World Series champion Los Angeles Dodgers. A major addition to their pitching staff, and one of Bullock's Red Sox is off to Kansas City. In a story, believe it or not, that was reported by our dear friend Ryan Avedisian. I noticed it on his Facebook page, and I sent it to these guys in our messenger. So we'll address those elephants in the room next week, along with some other things and whatever comes up. So with all that being said, from one blockbuster trade to another, but this one I believe is probably even bigger than this. From the NFL, a blockbuster trade with the Detroit Lions and the Los Angeles Rams, the franchise quarterbacks traded Matthew Stafford to the Los Angeles Rams, and Jared Goff to the Detroit Lions. Pair of primetime quarterbacks are moving to new cities. NFL Network insider Ian Rappaport and NFL Network's Tom Pelissero reported on Saturday, January 30th, on that night, that the Detroit Lions. Oh, hold on one second here. Okay. I think that should be all. Okay. As I was saying before that pop-up video came in, Ian Rappaport and Tom Pelissero reported on Saturday night, January 30th, that the Detroit Lions quarterback Matthew Stafford is heading to the Los Angeles Rams in a massive blockbuster trade for quarterback Jared Goff and a package of picks. Detroit will acquire Goff, a 2021 third-round pick and first-round picks in 2022 and 2023 in exchange for Stafford per Pelissero. Pelissero also reported that multiple teams offered first-round picks in this year's draft, but this deal will ultimately give both sides what they desired. And he also noted that the trade cannot become official until the start of the new league year on March 17th. The Rams will inherit the 2 years, $43 million remaining on Stafford's contract, and the Lions will carry a $17.8 million dead cap hit in 2021. The expectation is that Stafford's contract won't need to be changed, and an extension or raise was not part of the deal, according to Ian Rappaport. In return, Detroit will inherit the 4 years and $106.6 million remaining on Goff's contract. LA will carry a $22.2 million dead cap hit in 2021. The Lions had more than 6 offers, including a few worth more than a first-round pick, and Detroit's decision to take on Goff's large contract ended up costing LA more. The Chicago Bears, Denver Broncos, and Carolina Panthers, clubs that are among a handful of teams with questions surrounding the position heading into next season, were among those who inquired as the Lions had several offers. Pelissero highlighted the particulars of Goff's current contract. He has $43 million in fully guaranteed money left, $25 million in base salary in 2021, a $2.5 million roster bonus due on the second day of the 2021 league year in March, and another $15.5 million roster bonus due on the second day of the 2022 league year. The clock on a potential deal began ticking ever since Pelissero reported the previous week, January 23rd, that Detroit and its franchise signal caller mutually agreed to part ways. Now at age 32, Stafford, the 2009 number 1 overall pick, will get a fresh start under coach Sean McVay in the City of Angels. For Goff, age 26, the deal comes after a sketchy end of the 2020 season. Near the end of what was an up-and-down campaign, Goff suffered a broken right thumb in Week 16 against Seattle that caused him to miss the season finale and begin the Rams' wildcard matchup against the Seahawks as a backup to John Wolford. In addition to getting a restart of his own, Goff will reunite with new Lions GM Brad Holmes, whom he knows well. The former Rams director of college scouting evaluated Goff coming out of California in 2016. Alongside offensive coordinator Anthony Lynn, Goff will play a central role in the Lions' rebuild under new head coach Dan Campbell. While the date is still to be determined, the 2021 season already has one of its first must-see matchups, with Goff and Stafford getting a chance to exact some revenge against their old teams when the Rams host the Lions at SoFi Stadium. NFL Network's Mike Giardi confirmed per an informed source that the New England Patriots were interested in acquiring Matthew Stafford. Giardi added that it's unclear how far it went beyond that, but he surmised that considering the price, it's hard to imagine it lasted long. In addition to the Pats, the San Francisco 49ers also inquired about the veteran QB, Rappaport reported Sunday. Despite dealing with numerous nagging injuries, Stafford finished the year with 4,084 yards, his most since 2017, 26 touchdowns, and 10 interceptions. He departs Detroit with a bevy of franchise records in his name, including most career passing yards, 41,025, highest career completion percentage, 62.48, and most career passing touchdowns, 256. The one-time Pro Bowler and 2011 Comeback Player of the Year posted a 74, 90, and 1 record in 165 starts. Goff recorded 18,171 yards, 107 touchdowns, and 55 interceptions in his 5 seasons with LA. His best year came in 2018, the second of his 2 Pro Bowl selections, when he logged a career-high 4,688 yards en route to leading the 13-3 Rams to a Super Bowl 53 showdown against the Patriots. He is 42-27 in his 69 career starts. And wow. caused a major uproar, obviously. And, we've had some time to think about this, and I'll say it like this. So the question is here, who came out on the winning end in this headline-making trade? It's hard to knock either team for what they came away with. The Lions grabbed 2 first-round picks and a third-rounder, helping them rebuild a roster for Dan Campbell, a roster that badly needs an injection of talent. They also secured a starting quarterback in Goff, who could either improve in his new home and be a long-term answer, or bridge the gap for a year while the Lions search for their franchise passer. If Goff thrives in Detroit, the Lions will get an A+ for this deal. If he falters, it'll be closer to an A- for the Lions. But rather than focusing on the grade, I'm going to analyze this from the Rams' perspective. At first glance, they gave up a lot for a quarterback who will turn 33 in a week. There's no minimizing the value of 2 first-round picks and another top 100 selection. But it became obvious that Goff was not going to be the quarterback to get them over the hump. He was afforded the league's best defense, a solid group of skilled players, and an improved offensive line in 2020. Yet he still turned it over 17 times in 15 games and went only 9-6 as a starter. He simply didn't do enough to win games, often getting carried by either the ground game, the defense, or both. When you're paying a quarterback $33.5 million a year like the Rams were going to for the next 4 years, he should be the catalyst for winning games, not the flat tire, preventing them from hitting top speed and making a deep run in the playoffs. Financially, this move doesn't really hurt the Rams as much as first expected. If they don't restructure Stafford's contract, he'll be on the books for $20 million this year, plus the $22.2 million in dead money Goff leaves behind. So instead of paying Goff $34.75 million to be the starter, the Rams will be allocated $42.2 million to the 2 quarterbacks next season. If $7.45 million is the difference between going 10-6 and winning a Super Bowl, the Rams will gladly pay the difference. But if Stafford continues to go winless in the playoffs, this deal will backfire for LA. The biggest downside for the Rams is the loss of draft picks. The 2021 third rounder is not a backbreaking loss, since they'll probably get 2 compensatory picks in that round for losing Brad Holmes and Dante Fowler Jr. But going the next 3 years without a first-round pick can stunt their future successes. They now must find value in the later rounds, get contributions from cheap free agent signings, and the players at the top of the cap heap, Aaron Donald, Jalen Ramsey, Cooper Kupp, and Robert Woods, have to play at Pro Bowl levels. If not, the Rams could find themselves in cap hell. Ignoring the fact that the Rams signed Goff 2 years too early in 2019, this is a trade that should help them improve. And for that reason, I give them a B+ for this. Now the Rams just have to hope Stafford can capture that elusive first playoff win. So that's really all I can say on this. So not much more. MF, you are obviously Mr. NFL. You're the big analyst here. So who do you feel got the better out of this trade?
The Rams. I'm going to say it. The Rams got themselves a franchise quarterback. Don't get me wrong. Jared Goff was good when he played there, but you could tell there was definitely some problems. What the Rams needed was a big quarterback that would throw the ball downfield and is not afraid to chuck it down the field. Jared Goff kind of is a dink and dunk type guy. He just loves to go for the short pass. He doesn't go for the home run ball. Matthew Stafford will. And you got guys like Robert Woods, Cooper Kupp. You got a good running game. You got a defense. They believe this could be the final, that this could be the final piece of the puzzle that they need that could get them that could probably get them not only over the hump and win the division, but possibly make a run at the Super Bowl. And now more than ever, the Rams are feeling like their window is starting to close a little bit, because they felt like, think about it. Just a few years ago, they were in the Super Bowl. They were playing for the Lombardi Trophy in Super Bowl 53 against the New England Patriots. They lost. Last year was a down year. They made the playoffs. Last year was a down year. And now they're thinking, you know what? This is our time. We need to make a move. And now, more than ever, this is the moment they need to do. So, here we go. Now it is on. I think Jared Goff will do very well in Detroit. I think he'll do fine where he is. But like we said, this is the moment for the Rams. They had the taste of making it to the Super Bowl a couple of years ago. They are now thinking that, out of all the situations, the quarterback was the thing that let us down. Now we got a quarterback that they believe that will get them over the hump and get them to where they want to go. And that's to fight for the Lombardi. So we'll see. I think the Rams won the deal. Nothing more to say. Mike Bullock, it's yours.
Yeah, I'm with you on this one. I mean, I think the Rams got the best of this deal because Matthew Stafford is a franchise quarterback, and like you said, Fletch, he's not afraid to go deep with the long ball. I mean, this is, like you said, nothing against Jared Goff and everything that he did, but I would say for the Rams, this is almost like their last chance to try to compete for a Super Bowl, because they had their chance to, of course, like you guys said, that in the 2018 season, and basically lost to the Patriots. And yeah, I think this is definitely their way of trying to get over the hump. Now, whether that happens or not remains to be seen, but I think he'll do well under Coach Sean McVay and the offense that he runs there. So now you add him with this offense, and then of course the pretty good defense there. I think I could definitely see them making a run in the playoffs, and maybe hopefully they get to the Super Bowl and can finally win the Lombardi Trophy. So we'll wait and see what happens. So there's really nothing more to say. Let's move on, Florio.
And now we move on to our double main event of the evening. First up, NFL honors. The NFL honor, the 10th annual NFL honors ceremony, where the NFL recognized the top players and performances of the 2020 season. This year's event was a virtual celebration rather than a gala at the Super Bowl venue because of COVID-19 restrictions. Steve Harvey served as the host for the third straight year. And this ceremony was held inside of an empty SoFi Stadium, which will be the home of next year's Super Bowl 56. And so, with all that being said, we, in no particular order, we will reveal the winners of the NFL Honors 2021 awards. Most Valuable Player, Aaron Rodgers, Green Bay Packers. Offensive Player of the Year, Derrick Henry, Tennessee Titans. Defensive Player of the Year, Aaron Donald, Los Angeles Rams. Offensive Rookie of the Year, Justin Herbert, Los Angeles Chargers. Defensive Rookie of the Year, Chase Young, Washington Football Team. Comeback Player of the Year, Alex Smith, Washington Football Team. Coach of the Year, Kevin Stefanski, Cleveland Browns. Walter Payton, Man of the Year, Russell Wilson, Seattle Seahawks. Assistant Coach of the Year, Brian Daboll, the offensive coordinator of the Buffalo Bills, and rightfully so. Clutch Performance Player of the Year, the Hail Murray, Kyler Murray to DeAndre Hopkins. Fantasy Player of the Year, Josh Allen, Buffalo Bills. FedEx Air and Ground Players of the Year. The air player was Aaron Rodgers, and the ground player was Derrick Henry. Art Rooney Sportsmanship Award, Teddy Bridgewater of the Carolina Panthers. And the celebration of the year, the Pittsburgh Steelers celebrating Chase Claypool's touchdown in Week 10 against the Jacksonville Jaguars. And then from there, the 2021 Pro Football Hall of Fame class. And they are as follows. Trying to get the list here. Okay. All right. 2021 Pro Football Hall of Fame class that was also announced during the NFL honors, and they are as follows in no particular order. As soon as this loads up, it's very slow. I apologize. All right. So with all that being said, the headliner, obviously, as we all know, that will be Peyton Manning. Peyton Manning will obviously be the headliner of this class. Charles Woodson, Calvin Johnson, Megatron, Drew Pearson, Alan Faneca, Bill Nunn, John Lynch, and Tom Flores. That's your Pro Football Hall of Fame class of 2021. So we have all the winners. So with all that, MF, you heard the list of winners and the Pro Football Hall of Fame class, and I know that you want to go on a Cerebral Viper rant because I know you feel that your Miami Dolphin players got snubbed. I'm right there with you, but nonetheless, your thoughts on the winners?
Well, the way I feel, it goes like this. When it came to this NFL honors this year, like you said, I mean, it was kind of a tough situation. I think the way that to really think about it, Aaron Rodgers being named the MVP, I got no problem with that. I know there's a few people that feels like it should have been Josh Allen from the Buffalo Bills. A lot of people believe that it should have been him. There was a number of players that it could have been. Offensive Player of the Year, Derrick Henry, shoe-in, no doubts, no arguments. He deserves the award. Now, when it came to Defensive Player of the Year, this is where one of the big stinks came up. Aaron Donald was a dominating player. Unbelievable. Did incredible. I understand why they gave it to him. I disagree. Now, at first, I was going to say it should have been Xavier Howard from the Miami Dolphins. I believe that wholeheartedly, but that is me being kind of a homer, representing my team. I saw what Howard did all year long. He had the most interceptions than any other player with 10 and was unbelievable for the Miami Dolphins this year. But the true Defensive Player of the Year was TJ Watt of the Pittsburgh Steelers. He beat Aaron Donald in every single category that there was in his position against Donald. He destroyed him. It wasn't even close. I think the NFL got it wrong. I felt like that was absolutely a miscarriage of justice. Rookie of the year, offensive rookie of the year, Justin Herbert. I'm not even going to argue that. He deserved it. He got it. Defensive rookie of the year was Chase Young. He deserved it. He got it. That's great. Comeback player of the year for Alex Smith. Why not? This guy deserves it after what he went through with that broken leg. We all remember that scary moment where it looked like his leg was gone and we thought he would never ever play another game ever again. And to do what he did, congratulations. You deserve it, man. God bless you, man. You are awesome. You're amazing. Steven Stefanski getting coach of the year. This was another stink. And I'm going to say it. Even though I thought Brian Flores definitely deserves an opportunity at this, guys, it should have been Doug McDermott from the Buffalo Bills.
Sean McDermott.
Sean McDermott. But
Agreed.
still, he deserves it. Best record in the AFC. Won the division for the first time in God knows how long. You don't have to interrupt me, Florio. You can correct me in a minute. Almost took his team to the Super Bowl for the first time since 1993. Went to the AFC Championship game. And what? Stefanski did what? 11-5? Got his team to the playoffs. Okay, fine, great. But you give it to him when McDermott had a better record, higher seed, number 2 overall, AFC, and went all the way to the AFC Championship game. And that's not enough to be coach of the year? I don't know, guys. I think that was without a doubt messed up in my mind. Walter Payton Man of the Year, Russell Wilson. I got nothing to say, man. This guy deserved it. Just like a couple of years ago when J.J. Watt won the award after all his countless things that he did for the Hurricane, what Russell Wilson did for the social injustice of the Why Not You Foundation, my man. For what you did, you should be commended. You're an amazing ambassador. You're an incredible player. You know, you're amazing, man. You're one of those guys. I know you're having a tough time in Seattle. I would love to see you come to Miami. just as a personal. This is just me personally. So, Russ, hit us up, man. We got you if you need it. Remember, I know how you talk about social justice and everything else. We got an African American GM. We got an African American head coach, man. Hey, Deshaun Watson wanted to come to us. Trust me, we will treat you like a king with your lovely wife Ciara and your wonderful children down in South Beach, bro. We got you. If you ever come to Miami, don't worry, we got you, bro. I rest assure you that. And as far as it goes, yeah, and then when you talk about the Hall of Fame, I mean, there's really nothing more to add. I mean, when you're talking about the Hall of Fame class, I mean, yeah, I mean, how on earth do you not say that these men don't deserve it? I mean, Peyton Manning, are you kidding me? I mean, one of the greatest of all time, one of the greatest to ever play the game. So you got that. You got, Charles Woodson, who I am so happy he got in. I'm so ecstatic that he's a Hall of Famer, man. He's a Michigan guy. You know how much I love Michigan. You know how much I'm for the Michigan Wolverines. Calvin Johnson. Now, okay, there's going to be some debate about this one. There's going to be a lot of debate about Calvin Johnson. Should he deserve to be in the Hall of Fame? Should he not be in the Hall of Fame? Because he kind of did leave his team, left them in a lurch during the down years of the Detroit Lions. And I know there was a lot of controversy about this one. This one really rubbed some people the wrong way. A lot of people thought that maybe he didn't deserve the spot. There's some people who believe that he does. So there's a little bit of a fight here about that one. Drew Pearson was one of those guys that definitely deserves it, I believe. Alan Faneca, give it up for the O-line guys. Alan Faneca was one of those guys, hard-nosed player. We remember him very well from the years with the Pittsburgh Steelers. And let me tell you, Faneca deserves the moment that he got. So I'm happy for him. Bill Nunn, kind of a little bit of a behind-the-scenes guy. I'm not really too knowing of his credentials. John Lynch deserves to be in the Hall of Fame. Now, I know a lot of people were really angry because a lot of people thought that Leroy Butler should have gotten in here. No doubt about it, Leroy Butler deserves to be in the Hall of Fame. It was a travesty that he did not get in. I mean, look, this is one of those situations where certain guys who hasn't gotten into the Hall of Fame, who probably eventually will get in, this is one of those guys that will eventually get in. Tom Flores, I mean, if you know coaching, you know what he's done. He is an iconic name, synonymous. My boy Ed Williams went absolutely ballistic when he heard the news that his boy's going into the Hall of Fame. He's well deserving. So, no, it was a great night all in all. So, nothing more to say. Mike Bullock, is yours.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I mean, it was definitely a great night. I mean, it was a tough situation, obviously, because of COVID and all that. But yeah, I mean, it was definitely a great night. And yeah, congratulations to everybody on their award. I mean, Aaron Rodgers as the MVP, I'm fine with that. Now, as far as I'm concerned with Coach of the Year, and I know I'm probably going to rifle some feathers here with what I'm about to say, but I think they got this one right. I mean, because Kevin Stefanski did something that no other Browns team or no other coach could be able to say they did. That they took the Browns to the playoffs for the first time since 2002. I mean, Browns fans have been wondering when are we going to get back to the playoffs? And they did. And then look at the run they did. And basically, they could have pulled off the upset and beat the Kansas City Chiefs and dethroned them. But it is what it is. I mean, in the Hall of Fame class, I basically agree with I mean, yeah, the Calvin Johnson one's definitely gonna raise some eyebrows. And yeah, I mean, like I said, it's definitely gonna raise some eyebrows, but all the other candidates, I do agree that they deserve to get in, and we're thankful for that. So yeah, it was definitely a great night. So there's really nothing more to say. Florio, it is yours.
Yeah. I'm not going to really make a big stink about, who picked up the wins and everything else. I mean, I'm okay with all the winners, but here's the thing though. And you guys know I love Aaron Rodgers. I mean, MF, you know better than anybody how much I love Aaron Rodgers. I went on to call the man an American hero, for goodness sakes. And I still feel that way because he is. to me, it should have been Josh Allen. And I know a lot of people are going to say, oh, that's because you're a Bills fan and you're a homer. That's part of it. But also, if you look at the numbers and you look at what Josh Allen did for the Buffalo Bills this year, I mean, how could you not give him a rub for MVP? How could you not? I mean, if I had a vote, I definitely would have voted for him. No doubt about it. I mean, with all the records that he set and, but it is what it is. And Aaron Rodgers, that's who all the experts felt was the best, and that's it. Derrick Henry, winning the Offensive Player of the Year, of course, over 2,000 rushing yards. That's self-explanatory there. Aaron Donald, he had now here's the argument. He had a team leading 13 and a half sacks, 14 tackles for loss, 28 quarterback hits, 4 forced fumbles, and 1 fumble recovery. Those are pretty much the numbers here. I mean, I know TJ Watt led the league in sacks. I think he had like 15 this year for Pittsburgh. But very hard to argue. Justin Herbert, I mean, wow. After a weird accident with Tyrod Taylor, suffering that punctured lung while receiving an injection, Herbert, in 15 games, 31 touchdowns, 10 interceptions, 7.3 yards per attempt, and a 98.3 passer rating. Also had 234 yards rushing and 5 TDs. And then from there, Chase Young, 7.5 sacks, 3 fumble recoveries, 10 tackles for loss in 15 games. Definitely deserving of Defensive Rookie of the Year. Alex Smith, obviously, returned to the field in week 5, took over as starter in week 10, 6 starts in all, and it led to the Washington football team winning the NFC East, had a 66.7 completion percentage with a 6-8 touchdown interception ratio. But the numbers are secondary to Alex Smith being able to resemble his career. Did you see the man's leg, for goodness sakes? It was ugly. That's all I can say on that. And I know we're all in agreement on that. Coach of the Year, this is the one that rubbed me the wrong way. I mean, no disrespect to Kevin Stefanski. He came over from Minnesota, promptly guided Cleveland to their first playoff berth in 18 years, went 11-5, beat the Steelers in week 17, and then beat them again in the wild card round. MF nailed it. It should have been Sean McDermott. I mean, 13-3, number 2 seed in the AFC, first AFC East division title since 1995. I got the division championship shirt to prove it, and with everything that they did, beating Indianapolis in the wild card round, beating Baltimore in the divisional round, and in the first quarter of that AFC Championship game, it was looking really good. I mean, they had KC down 9-0, and I'll admit it, I was bouncing around like Tigger a little bit. I was like, oh my God, is this really happening? Is this really happening? But then we came crashing down back to reality, and KC turned it into a track meet, and that was it. And that's why Buffalo couldn't get over the hump. But to me, Sean McDermott, the real Coach of the Year. No disrespect to Coach Stefanski, but he did a phenomenal job. Walter Payton Man of the Year, Russell Wilson. I mean, I'm just going to say it like this. Whoever wins the Walter Payton Man of the Year award, don't make any arguments against it, because it is the most prestigious award out of all of them. No argument should be made against it. Even if you feel someone was more deserving, you can't argue against whoever wins. You can't. Simple as that. And then from there, Brian Daboll, Assistant Coach of the Year. He was the architect behind our high-powered offense this past year, and he pushed Josh Allen to execute at a high level. Not just Josh Allen, but Stephon Diggs. They became the league's most dangerous QB wide receiver combo, and they finished second in the NFL with 501 points this past year. Only Green Bay had more. I think they had like 509. The Hail Murray, as a Bills fan, I say no comment. Although there was no other nominee that could even come close to that. Josh Allen, Fantasy Player of the Year, 436.1 points in DraftKings fantasy scoring. Self-explanatory there. Rodgers and Henry winning the FedEx Awards. Bridgewater was recognized for outstanding sportsmanship on the field. And the Claypool touchdown, we're not going to really address that. The Hall of Fame class, we don't have enough time to, break down all their accomplishments. Maybe prior to the induction ceremony, maybe we will do a formal breakdown of all the numbers and everything else. But Peyton Manning, obviously the headliner, and rightfully so. First ballot Hall of Famer, but then again, you had a feeling he would. With all the records that he set and all the success he had, 2 Super Bowl championships, one with Indianapolis, one with Denver. Charles Woodson, the preeminent defensive back of his era, with the Raiders and the Packers. Michigan guy, like MF said, obviously. His first year of eligibility, he gets in. Megatron, 11,619 career yards, 83 touchdowns, including a rookie, or I should say a single season record for receiving yards, 1,964 in 2012. And it was his first year of eligibility. Drew Pearson, he played for the Dallas Cowboys in the 70s. He was Roger Staubach's go-to guy and the recipient of the very first Hail Mary. And he also had 8 touchdowns in 22 playoff games. Alan Faneca, MF said it, for the O-line. Played for Pittsburgh. And he also played for Arizona. He also played the Jets and Arizona. And Bill Nunn was the architect of the Steeler teams in the 70s. And John Lynch, safety for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and the Denver Broncos, was also a broadcaster for Fox, working with Kevin Burkhardt. And as of now, of course, he's the GM of the 49ers. And Tom Flores, the head coach of he led the Raiders to 2 Super Bowl championships. And the Raiders won 3 overall. John Madden led them to the first one, but Flores led them to the other 2 in 15 and 18. 15, they beat Philly. 18, they beat Washington. So in 15, they were in Oakland, but 18, they were in LA. That's the LA Raiders. So congratulations to all of the inductees. I know MF and Dolphin Nation were hopping mad because of Zach Thomas being left out. Rest assured, I believe in my heart of hearts, one day he will get in. I know you wanted it right away. I know you feel he should be in. He'll be in there. Don't worry. So that's really all I can say on that. So congratulations to all of the winners. And one last order of business, gentlemen, and that is Super Bowl 55. Oh, boy. We thought going in that it had potential to be a 5-star Shakespearean drama classic. No. For the second time in 3 years, gentlemen, we ended up getting an absolute dud of a Super Bowl. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers dominating, manhandling the Kansas City Chiefs 31-9, making history, winning the Super Bowl in their own backyard of Raymond James Stadium in Tampa. Tom Brady, the MVP, 21 of 29, 201 yards, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions. Leonard Fournette had a rushing touchdown, 89 yards. Gronk, 67 yards, 2 touchdowns. Antonio Brown had a receiving touchdown. The defense recording 3 sacks and 2 interceptions. And that's really all you needed to know about their side. As far as KC goes, Patrick Mahomes, 26 of 49, 270 yards, no touchdowns, 2 interceptions. Clyde Edwards-Helaire led the team with 64 yards rushing. And Travis Kelce, what did I tell you about? What did I tell you guys about Travis Kelce? If Kansas City had won, you easily could have considered him for MVP. he had MVP numbers. He had 10 catches for 133 yards. Chiefs defense only had 1 sack, and that was pretty much it. But wow, I think it's only fitting that Michael Bullock starts this off because Bullock, it was your old buddies, TB12 and Gronk, who paved the way for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in their second Super Bowl win. So admit it, man. You were very happy for your old buddies, Brady and Gronk, I'm sure.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I was happy for my 2 old buddies, Tom Brady and Rob Gronkowski. Gronk winning his 4th Super Bowl. And of course, what can you say, guys? The legacy of Tom Brady continues. Winning his 7th Super Bowl championship. And that's more than every franchise in the NFL. I mean, if that doesn't prove why he is the greatest of all time, I don't know what will. I mean, he made the bold move to leave New England and go to Tampa Bay, and with all the other moves with Gronkowski, Antonio Brown, but what another thing that really stood out to me in this game was the defense. They were all over Patrick Mahomes in this game, and I mean, with Jason Pierre-Paul and White and I mean, this was a dominant defensive night for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, making history, winning winning the Super Bowl in their backyard, and now Bruce Arians becomes the oldest coach to win the Super Bowl. And I'm about to tell you guys something. Well, Florio, you know this. I've told you this. Fletch, you're hearing this for the first time. Well, let's go back to the conference championship. I told my parents if the Tampa Bay Buccaneers got to the Super Bowl, I was going to get a Tom Brady Buccaneers jersey. That happened. I ordered it. Still waiting for it to come in, but it will eventually. And then, well, you guys don't know about this one. If the Buccaneers had won the Super Bowl, I told my parents I was going to get a Tampa Bay Buccaneers Super Bowl championship hat. It happened. I put the order in, and it's on the way. So I know people are going to look at me like, wait a minute. You're a Patriots fan. Don't get me wrong. I still am. But I was also rooting for the Bucks just because of Brady and Gronk. So that's why I did what I did. So I'm living up to it. So congratulations to the Buccaneers. Your second Super Bowl championship, from the Glazer family to the Light family. Enjoy it. So there's nothing more to say. Florio, it's yours.
Yeah. Going in, I mean, you guys already know. We were excited. I mean, we really thought that that this Super Bowl had the potential to be one of the greatest of all time, based on the talent and the whole 9 yards, and the fact that they played a very exciting game on Thanksgiving weekend. Unfortunately, we did not get the 5-star classic. We didn't get the Shakespearean drama. The game ended up being an absolute dud, an absolute whitewash, and even the ratings reflected it. It turned out to be a huge dud, both on the field and with TV viewers. After 102 million people watched the Kansas City Chiefs beat the San Francisco 49ers in last year's Super Bowl 54, CBS generated 96.4 million viewers across all platforms. With the game essentially over early in the third quarter, CBS never had a chance to grow its audience. Nobody was calling a friend to tell them that they had to put on the Super Bowl because it was so exciting. The result, a drop of about 9% year over year. CBS's presentation of Super Bowl 55 averaged 91.6 million viewers. Last year's game on Fox averaged 99.9 million. CBS, though, had a big night with streaming. I mean, Tampa Bay's win was the most live-streamed NFL game ever, averaging 5.7 million viewers, up 65% over last year's Super Bowl. And, of course, cord cutting is happening at a rapid rate, and the pandemic has changed people's viewing habits and level of interest in sports. And I don't know what to tell you about that, but biggest reason viewership was down was because the game was completely unwatchable for most of the second half. And the disappointment for CBS is that it had Brady versus Mahomes and still had a significant ratings drop. But the network knows that if the game isn't compelling, viewership's going to take a hit. And, you know, it is what it is. And, you know, last year's game, we were going to give 5, but then once Casey put it out of reach late, we dropped it down to 4.5. It was a 4.5 star game, very exciting with KC and San Fran, but this time around, not even close. This was an absolute dud, but it was a 5-star performance by the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, though. I mean, they manhandled, they dominated the Kansas City Chiefs, very similar to what we saw in Super Bowl 37 when they manhandled the Oakland Raiders, who were a dominant offensive team that year. So, but say what you want. Congratulations to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. 2nd Super Bowl championship. Tom Brady, 7th overall. Gronk with his 4th. And what a story for Antonio Brown. I mean, what a redemption story for him. I mean, with all the baggage that he had, you know, leaving Pittsburgh and going to New England and all the controversy and all the baggage and all the Noggin Diva stuff that he had. What a story for him getting his first ring. And Brady already said he's going to be back next year, and this team will be back next year. And you know they're already going to be right up there. And as a matter of fact, they're in the top 3 when it comes to the odds of next year's Super Bowl. Kansas City is still the favorite. Green Bay is number 2. Tampa Bay is number 3. And tied for 4th, the Baltimore Ravens and my Buffalo Bills. I can't tell you how encouraged I am to hear that. So wishful thinking, I know, but, you know, you never know. Maybe next year it could be the big year for Buffalo. I mean, and to do it in SoFi, that would be something. But that will be on NBC next year. And the big question now, before I give it to MF, is who will Tampa Bay play in the first game next year? Because remember, Super Bowl champion gets the first game on that Thursday night. So Raymond James Stadium will have it. Could it be against one of their divisional rivals? Atlanta, Carolina, New Orleans? That obviously all depends on Drew Brees in New Orleans. If Brees comes back, then you know it'll be New Orleans, hands down. But if he doesn't, then it opens the door. Because they got Chicago coming in. They got the Giants coming in. They got Miami coming in, MF. And they also have Buffalo coming in. That would be a great spot for Buffalo. I mean, we thrived in primetime games last year. So that would be a hell of an honor. But we'll wait and see. The schedule will be out in about 2 months or so. So we'll find out soon enough. But nonetheless, congratulations, Tampa Bay Buccaneers, 31-9. Absolutely impressive. MF, unfortunately, it wasn't the 5-star Shakespearean drama classic we were hoping for. It ended up being a dud. But we can agree, an absolute 5-star performance from Tampa Bay.
They did everything they needed it to do to win the Super Bowl, and they absolutely dominated. Obviously, like you said, the teams that you're looking at possibly to play next year, if they really wanted to, would be, like you said, New Orleans, Dallas, Buffalo, Miami. would probably be your top picks for that first game of the year. I don't think there would be any other teams that would stand out. Because obviously the NFL wants marquee matchups for their first game of the year. I think that if it is Buffalo and Tampa, then Anthony, we really got to think about it very, very carefully. That could be our game, to say the very least. Even though traditionally, normally, when an AFC team goes out west to play an NFC team, normally that would be an AFC style game. So that would be on CBS. So it is something that we can consider, something that we can think about. I guess we'll have to wait and see how it plays out. But look, the way Tampa won this Super Bowl was like you said. They knew what to do. Todd Bowles' defense absolutely stepped up. They literally shut down Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs. I know there's some people that complain that, well, the refs kind of got involved in the game as well. And yeah, there was some calls that did go against Kansas City. There was a couple of bad penalties that went against Kansas City. But all in all, that was not really the reason why that they lost. Let's be realistic. The offensive line for Kansas City failed. They let Patrick Mahomes down. They had him running like a chicken with his head cut off the whole night. He just couldn't get anything going. That pass rush of Tampa Bay shocked us. I think none of us saw that coming. It was an unbelievable performance, and they deserved the win. So, no, this was an incredible performance by Tampa Bay. They won the Super Bowl. Leonard Fournette ran angry. He ran all over the place, had a big touchdown in the game. Rob Gronkowski had 2 touchdowns, and he was on. And I'm gonna honestly say, I thought he was well on his way for being a Super Bowl MVP. I thought he was going to get it at one point when they were playing it. So, yeah, without a doubt, this was an incredible performance, and Tampa deserves to be the world champions. They won it. They took it to Kansas City, and they were the better team on that night. There's no doubt about it. They deserve to be called the world champions, and it's so sad because now we got to wait till August to do it all again for football, man. Oh, this is the worst time for me right now. This is the time where
and for us, but don't worry.
Yeah.
Don't worry. All is not lost, MF. I mean,
no.
We have the NBA and the NHL for now, but let's not forget, next month we got the tournament. The tournament's back.
Yeah, and so we're definitely we're feeling a little down in the dumps. I'm gonna openly admit it, but we'll be right back. We'll be back. We'll be ready. We'll be focused. I can't wait. I can't wait to do it all over again. So yeah, what a great night it was. Yes, the game stunk. It wasn't the best Super Bowl game ever. But you know what? Look, sometimes that happens, guys. If you really think about it, if you've seen the history of the Super Bowl, there's been more duds and blowouts than closely tight-knit battles to the end. We've been very lucky for the last few years where we had some good Super Bowl matchups where it came down to the wire. But if you remember, in the early years of the Super Bowl, there were some blowouts. There were some duds. So I mean, sometimes we get the nail biters, the 5-star classic. Other times we get this, and unfortunately, this was one of those nights that, unfortunately, it made our night very long. Let's just say that it was a long night in the broadcast booth for the both of us. We like it to be nail biters. We like it to be closer to get us. But sometimes me and Anthony, we get stuck with some duds, and
we had a few this year.
Yeah, so it's a little tough. I'm gonna openly admit it. As broadcasters, as commentators, it's kind kind of tough trying to do a game when it's a blowout. So I mean,
Very hard.
we did the best we could. We did the best we could, but I will give it up. It was a great night. I mean, it's an honor and a privilege to do the Super Bowl. We do it every year. It's awesome. Thank you, Tampa, for being a great host. Inglewood, SoFi, you're next, boys.
Please let there be fans.
56. Get ready. We'll see you.
Let there be fans.
Oh, there'll be fans. I'm sure of it. I hope so.
Full capacity, I mean.
Yes. That's the big kicker. Full capacity.
We're looking at 100 easy.
Oh yeah.
So there's no doubt about it. We're 100K, no doubt. So all right. So that will put the bow on this edition of Strictly Sports. MF Cerebral Smack Talk. What's happening?
Well, it's really SmackDown Live. We're going to be doing that, and then we're also going to be talking about NXT Vengeance Day. That's going down on Sunday night. And yeah, there's really nothing more to add. So we'll do it as usual, 10:30 Eastern. And that is it for tonight, folks. So Anthony, take it home.
Yeah. Any word on when that Vengeance Day recap will be, MF?
Sunday night.
Immediately following
the show, yes.
All right. So there you go. Just wanted to be sure so we could plug it. So so there you have it. Tomorrow night, Cerebral Smack Talk. MF will have it. Race Fan 95. Friday night SmackDown and our preview of TakeOver Vengeance Day. Sunday night, the recap. And then Monday, Ridiculously Raw. Wednesday, Mayhem with AEW Dynamite and NXT. And this program next week, we'll figure out the docket and then do it all again. So that's it. So until tomorrow night for the Cerebral Smack Talk, it's Anthony Florio here for my elite panel. Good old MF Michael Fletcher, Michael Bullock, Dee Woodson, and Derek Ferreira, all in spirit. You know the routine, everybody. Thumbs up. Talk to you later. Yeah, throw it up 4 style. Bye for now, my friends. God bless. Be good to each other. Have a blessed Friday. And until tomorrow night for the Cerebral Smack Talk, keep it watching Strictly Sports right here on the Tone 25 on YouTube and StreamYard.com. For everybody who's been a part of this one, for now, Anthony Florio, so long. And bye, everybody. Bye.